One thing I wholeheartedly believe in is the Second Amendment. And there's a good possibility that this video isn't gonna record for very long. So I'll try to keep it short and sweet. If not, it'll make itself short and sweet. Alright, so I've seen two videos recently where people are wanting some white folks with guns to be persecuted and prosecuted. Basically made martyrs of. I think that's kind of gross. I support a person's right to own firearms for. Now, if I had property and a whole bunch of people broke onto my property and were standoffish and very snide with me, yeah, that is an occasion where you are outnumbered, regardless of the color of somebody's skin. You are outnumbered on your own property. If you're scared shitless and you are outnumbered, by all means. Or do I think that those people should be reprimanded for pulling out their guns? No. No. Absolutely fucking not. Now, there is something to be said for hoarding, and I don't like the rich for obvious reasons, and those people were rich white people. Those are the people I generally speak out about, and for some odd reason, I find myself defending them. Why is this? Because everybody should feel safe at their own home, regardless of your skin color. And I keep hearing this stuff about how, well, you know, as a black person, you never know if the cops are just going to bust in and fucking cap everybody. That's right. But how often does that happen to you? Telling me about it happening to others, and I tell you about what happens to other homeless people, and you tell me, oh, well, you know, you're not those homeless people. Well, you're not those black, are you? To pretend that it's some conspiracy that all white people have against black people, and we're all in this club that we all hate black people, and we all want to see bad things happen to all black people, and so on and so forth. Man, that just ain't the case. When you start kicking the people that are the most on your side, you got to take a look at what you're doing. For me, most of the people who claim that they were on my side actually weren't. That wasn't my fault nor my decision, but I had to work with it. A lot of things that I've seen these people who are claiming Black Lives Matter have done, including property damage, I've done the same. There gets a point where you got to grab a hold of that tea and throw it off into the harbor. There's another lady who apparently bumped into somebody going into a store. Hello, CCR. CCR typed good afternoon, Sean, over in the live chat over here. So this lady, she's got a gun. It's her right to have a gun. And she's got a very angry woman demanding an apology, screaming at the top of her lungs. And you can see the whole time that this woman who's got the gun, she's not up in this woman's face trying to shoot her. She is backing up. This woman, whose daughter was supposedly bumped into, has now made it a life or death issue and a race issue where it doesn't need to be. At this point, that white woman is scared shitless. Why wouldn't she be? I mean, let's take a look at what we got going on here. We got a lot of black people who are doing stupid shit and claiming that they're in trouble just because of the color of their skin. That is not the fucking case in most of these situations. Now, there's a lot of them that, yeah, that is the case. Most cops are crooked. I'm not going to pretend they ain't. But I'm also tired of the other victims being ignored because they're not the right color to be victims. Obviously, a white male can't be a victim. He's the wrong gender and he's the wrong color. See, that's one of them big ass myths that minorities spread around about white folks. How do I know that? I know lots of minorities. Lots. I got a lot of people that I care about that are homosexuals. A lot of them that are heterosexuals. A lot of them that are black. A lot of them that are white. That are Christian, Muslim, Jewish. It don't matter. But I hear white people get talked about like they automatically have everything. Like they can't be victimized because they don't have the right color of skin to be victimized. You're going to ignore 90% of the victims because they're not the right color. Black lives do matter. I can agree that. I can also agree that Natives' lives matter. I can agree that my life matters. And Natalie's life matters. Your life matters. And saying that isn't racist. I haven't seen her talk to my brother in a good long while, and that hurts me every day. And friends of his want to tell me, oh, well, Sean, he doesn't know what to say. You know, he cries about you and so on and so forth. Like hell he does. If he gave a shit about me, he'd have made some effort to get a hold of me in the last few years, and he hasn't. When it went from me being who I love to be and me being an injured animal, treated like an animal, especially by police, you know, I didn't really matter to people anymore. It was okay to victimize me, and there was nothing I could do about it. Before, I could always leave. I could always leave the situation. If people want to get irate and turn into assholes and pretend whatever they want, like that's something that always got me. Like, there's a lot of women that I know that they'll abuse the shit out of good men. They'll date an asshole. They'll have sex with an asshole. They'll get fucked up on drugs and have all the sex with an asshole. And then that asshole beats them up and they need a place to stay or they need to move out of that situation. And a decent dude helps them move out. But then they get lonely and they go back to that asshole who beats on them and they have a bunch more sex. And then they pretend like you're the bad guy, like you only helped out because you wanted sex. Like, fuck you. That's not what good men are for. And that's why there are so few good men. A lot of the stuff that people wanted to credit to Natalie. Oh, this was about Natalie and that's about Natalie. No, it's about what we teach our little boys and girls in these here United States and what it results in. I want my life to end every day, every single day, because the help I need is help in person. Without that help in person, nobody's going to listen. And with cowards like Laura Nelson, well, it's difficult. She should have come forward years ago. Miss Peachy should have come forward years ago. Maddie Boa should have come forward years ago. I shouldn't have had to post that stuff on my Facebook and on YouTube. In 2016, I went up to rescue Jamie from James after her body was bruised. I helped to rescue her and her son. And that was on my trip to go see Natalie in Virginia at Natalie's request. You know, that's what I used to do. I used to go rescue people. Lanny, I rescued her more than once. Amanda Engeline, too. Jerry Sparks. We got a lot of stuff that's going on that's racist, but we got a lot of stuff that ain't racist. It's just people being afraid. That woman in the parking lot wasn't trying to kill anybody. She was trying to get that woman who was friggin' stalking her to leave her alone. You owe me an apology. Is it worth a bullet in your head, lady? Seriously, the woman with the gun is backing up. She doesn't want trouble. She is scared fucking shitless. We're not talking about like the cops pretending like they are. No, this woman is irate and she is starting shit. And then I read how the news fucking spun it, and I'm like, holy fuck. After watching the video, I'm like, holy fuck. This is not a racist issue. This is about somebody thinking that they're owed. Now, don't get me wrong. There is lots that you are owed, but you are not owed an apology if somebody accidentally bumps into you. That is one of those things that I have to deal with often. And people say, you just need to let it go. You just need to let it go. I wouldn't let it go. I certainly wouldn't. Oh, yeah, I would. I have real fucking problems. Real fucking problems. See, unlike this woman who had to literally get in another woman's face, very irate and very accusational and very rude and very inconsiderate, in order to get a gun pulled on her. She had to literally get into someone's face until that person was scared. I didn't have to deal with that, did I? No, I had people drive from this county to the next one where I was at to harass me and to threaten my life. And to pull out guns, of course, and go shooting. Was I there for the guns and the shooting part? No, I wasn't. The lady I was staying with, she had some issues with Chris Kurth before that, too. A lot of the problem I have to deal with is the slander. I can't change the slander. I had to try to fight for a court date so that I could actually meet my accusers in court and get them to say that stuff in court and to show evidence and proof in court the way that it's supposed to be in these here United States. But did I get that opportunity? No, I didn't. And that's something that I also see with a lot of the minorities that folks want to hate on. I was in jail for a while. But you know what? When I was a kid, I was in the system. It's a lot different. When you're a kid and you're going through that, it's a different world altogether. Natalie had to go through that. Her sister had to go through that. A lot of the people that I know in this town had to go through that. Now, when I can see something that's a racial issue, yeah, I can understand fighting it as a racial issue. When it's something that's done to the homeless, and you want to, when it happens to the homeless and only focus on it when it happens to others, there's something really fucked up in these here in the United States. You can actually tell how great a country is based on how they treat their poor. And the poor here in the United States are not treated that good. You say, hey, we'll give you $400 worth of assistance, but you got to jump through $600 worth of hoops. So then you got to come up with an extra $200 to jump through them hoops. And people are like, well, you should be glad that you're getting free money. It's not free money. You're jumping through hoops. You're wasting gas. You're taking time out of your day. Time away from your children. Time away from your family. And we got to make it all a racist issue. No, you need to know when to back off. If I see something like that going down, things are different. I'd have been right there between that gun and that crazy lady. That crazy lady with her children trying to get herself shot. When somebody is scared like that, that is the wrong time to be getting up in their face like that. That is the time when they are the most likely to shoot you. That is exactly the situation that guns are for. When somebody doesn't get the point, hey, leave me the fuck alone. For me, I got the issue of I don't like guns. I don't have any issues with going out and shooting with some folks. That's fun. Or it can be. But pointing the goddamn thing at another human being is just fucking crazy to me. I also know that in the last few years, there have been situations where I've been scared enough that I would have used it. Just because I had it on me, it would have been an automatic reaction for me to shoot the people who were threatening to kill me because they were right there in my face, pushing and shoving and trying to be assholes. You're goddamn right I would have. When you're at the point and you're trying to get away from people and they're up in your face and threatening your life and fucking screaming at you, and yeah, that's not a situation that is fun to be in. Especially over something that either A, you didn't do, or B, somebody wants to pretend is some big major fucking deal when it's not. Now, if your daughter accidentally got shoulder checked, it's not a problem to say you're sorry. Saying, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do it, I didn't realize that it had happened. I've had people like Lincoln High School. Let me tell you about this high school. This is a minority high school in Tacoma, Washington. And I had kids all the time that always wanted to shoulder check me. So I just got good at stepping out of the way. So then it got to the point where if somebody's sleeve just barely touched my sleeve, they'd say that I tried to shoulder check them. A lot of the kids tried to beat me up all growing up in the lockup facilities and places like that. Gang up on me 2, 3, 4, or more on one. And here you are getting your ass beat. And at the end of it, you're literally getting beaten up because you're not black. In most of these situations. In a couple of the situations, it was because I wasn't Mexican looking enough. The system is racist by design. Once you're in there, it's a different world altogether. And a lot of the time, those kids get away with it by saying, oh, well, you used the N-word. Like fucking hell I did. But that somehow justifies it. That makes it okay that they did what they did. That makes it okay that they took out their frustrations they had for the judge and for the lawyer and for the police and for the staff members. And they had somebody they could take it out on. They could do the same thing that was done to them. And they could do it to somebody else and get away with it. And it was fine because that person couldn't do anything about it. That person couldn't do anything to defend themselves. That person had to defend themselves 6-on-1. That's what the system the fuck is. And the guards will tell you who's in there for what. They'll tell you who the fucking child molesters are. Sure as shit. Of course, in Arapahoe County, the guards went to the child molesters to try to get them to do something to me. How fucked up is that? I'm not going to pretend that these things aren't happening to Native Americans. I'm not going to pretend that they're not happening to the homeless. I'm not going to pretend that any of this is okay. The amount of money that has been spent nationwide on me just in the last 3 years is in the millions. Millions of dollars wasted so the cops could hide their own crimes. Millions of your taxpayer dollars wasted. Meanwhile, I refuse to own a gun. Imagine that.